Welcome, beautiful people. We are here today with my friend Princess with Princess Filmz. And I'm so excited to have you here today because it's been quite a while since we met through our friend Aldric Williams at a photo shoot, I think. Yeah, I think it was a photo shoot back in 2015, 13, 14, 15? It's been a minute. Yeah. So I want to say, first of all, I have enjoyed, I know that we don't talk a lot, we're just cool. We don't talk a lot, but I have enjoyed watching your journey. It has been quite amazing to see you just flourish in this industry. Miss Princess Monique is actually a TV film producer and writer, and she has been amazing in the likes of Clean Slate, Blackish, BMF, currently on what network is that? Stars, yeah, it wasn't coming to me. And the Goldbergs. Yeah. So I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with you to, just talk about your life, from where you were to where you are today. And let's dive in. Tell us about who you are, Princess.
Girl, when people say who you are at this stage of the game, the first thing I'd be like, let us pray. Right. No. But seriously, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Ohio!
Whoop, whoop. Dayton, just found out. And we've been knowing each other. Didn't even realize you were from Dayton. That's crazy.
I know.
Crazy, but that's probably why we had natural chemistry and synergy. But I grew up in Cleveland, and I grew up in the hood. Yeah. That's why I wrote a book called Hood to Hollywood. And growing up in Cleveland, it was the best. I had a lot of great family around me, and I was super tall. And my mother was also a model, so I thought, okay, that should be the thing that I get into. And I started trying to do some modeling. I modeled for Ebony Fashion Fair and Jet Magazine and did some different things. And then as I started, getting older, I started feeling, how do I evolve in the entertainment industry? And I wanted to become an actor. Yeah. So I was like, I'm either going to go to New York or I'm going to go to LA. And the weather was better in LA. So I went to LA to pursue acting. And my very first acting class I got into, my instructor was also a director.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so I became her assistant. Oh. And I started following her around. Okay. And after a while, she was like, acting is cool. You should do it. But I think you could be a great director as well. Oh, wow. And so she encouraged me to do a short film. And I did that. And I won 13 awards for my short film. And I was like, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, that's total alignment right there. Yeah. So I want to piggyback a little bit. So how much acting did you actually do?
I guest starred on Steve Harvey's show. I was on a show. I was on so many shows back in the day that. Remember the one with Stacey Dash? Clueless.
Yes, Clueless.
The Parkers, Girlfriends, One-on-One. Those. Yeah. So I would just do guest starring parts as I was trying to find. Trying at that time to get a regular series role. Yeah. But then I started directing. Yeah. And when I got into it, because I'm a student student of the game, I'm a student of life. And I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go to film school and really understand the history of the industry, as well as learn what my strengths and my weaknesses are and make my strengths more stronger and my weaknesses into strength. Yeah. So
I love that. It sounds like you really heard the message. At that young age, sometimes you get advice and you don't hear it, right? It's like, but I love that what I heard was your teacher told you, hey, I see something in you. I think you should try this. And a lot of people will get the message from someone who see something in you, but you don't take heed. And you go all off on this journey that maybe you didn't have to, right? So it seems like you got the message really early and got in on your passion and got in alignment with your assignment. And this is why the success is showing up for you.
Well, because I'm a mentor as well. I make sure I mentor. I mean, that's a big part of what I do. One of the things that I do tell my mentees is that, entertainment is a big umbrella, right? So you may be attracted to the umbrella, but there's so many jobs underneath that umbrella. So I tell them to try as many things as possible because you may think you're supposed to be an actor. You may supposed to be a casting director. You know, you may think you're supposed to be a director when you should just be a writer, you know, and there's just so many things to do. But for me, it was actually a painful choice to switch because when you model, you're used to being out front. So when someone tells you to go behind the scenes, it's like, am I not cute no more?
Or, validation. Or
like, you know, my family in Cleveland, they were like, you moved to Hollywood. We want to see you on TV. But now can you see my name on the screen? Yes, but you don't see me, right? And then when they started understanding what I really do and see like, it's actually kind of cooler than just being an actor. Nothing wrong with actors. Listen, I love my actors, but and I do acting still today sometimes, but directing definitely it takes a different side of your brain to do that. So
I was going to ask you, do you think you are more of a creative or analytical person?
I have a best friend who gives me the credit all the time, and I'm saying to her that I think she's right. She says, you're my only friend that uses her left brain and her right brain. Because I am a creator all day long. I love creating things, but I am going to sit there and be like, what's the system? What's the business behind this? What's the numbers? Like, how do we do that? What's the beginning, middle, and end? So, and my mother was telling me I used to be like that as a kid. She used to be like, okay, you want me to clean my room, clean the kitchen, do this, and then I can go and do these things. Like she said, you will write a list and make a plan to do your chores. So I kind of think it just how it came out.
Just natural for you. So how supportive was your family in your journey overall?
My family has always been the best. Good. Like, you know, growing up in the hood, everybody was just kind of trying to survive. So as long as you were doing something positive, we were like, yeah, go do it. Good. You know, and nobody was ever like, oh, you shouldn't do that, or that. They don't know if it made money or not made money. They just felt like you're good at this and we're going to support you. I think that's a Cleveland. I think that's an Ohio thing.
I think so.
Because it's like, I don't care. You want to go rake the leaves for a living? I'm going to be out there, go rake. You know?
Yeah, my mother was the same way. My family was the same way. Whatever you want to do, baby, we got your back.
Absolutely.
That
was never a problem for me.
I love that. I love that. So along your journey, what would you say with so many successful projects that you've worked on, which one has been, this might not be a fair question.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to take a drink of my wine on this one. I'm listening.
I'm not going to keep it too general. So I'll say, which project was the most impactful for you on your life?
I'm going to go back to the beginning. The very first short film I did was called The Call. And it dealt with HIV and AIDS awareness. And I just did this project because I had found out some numbers about African Americans being, you know, the number one killer of African Americans between the ages of 21 and 47 was HIV. And I was like, say what now? And so I felt like if I was not educated about this, I need to educate my people so that people can start doing the right things. And when I did that award, that short film, I won 13 awards with it. But I did it first in a showcase where it was just a scene in a showcase. And I remember standing on the side of the stage watching my actors do everything that we had rehearsed. And I could see the audience like responding to everything. And it was the first time I felt so super fulfilled and seen and heard without anybody looking at me at all. And I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And so
that felt good. I felt that energy.
You did? You felt that? Girl?
I felt that.
And it was called The Call. And my mentor I keep referencing to is Chip Fields. You know, she was Kim Fields. She's Kim Fields' mom. She was on Good Times. She played Janet Jackson, Penny's mom on Good Times. And she was the one who said, you know what, I think this is not just a short film. It's called The Call. I think this is the call on your life.
Oh.
And I was like,
I love that.
I think I figured it out finally. You know how you pursuing, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. But that's when I knew this is where I'm putting both stakes in the ground.
What age range were you at that time, if
I was
you don't mind
20s.
sharing? Okay, yeah.
20s.
So super important. Like, in your 20s, you found your calling. Like, I hope the people hear that.
I was like a crazy little person. And I say that because I kept feeling like, why am I here? What am I supposed to do? That question was one I asked from when I was a young girl all the way to my 20s. And it was driving me nuts. And it's like, not until I figured this out, am I going to stop asking the question? Yeah,
that's good. That's really good advice for the young people. I'm going to ask you a little bit later, the whole question about what would you say, what advice would you give your younger self? But we're going to come back to that. So hear me on this. So that was the most impactful project. Which project was your passion project?
I feel like I'm on my passion project currently.
Good.
I am on the one that I will finally can say that I am the writer, I'm the director, I'm the producer. I probably will have a small role in it, and I haven't had to wear so many hats. Well, I will say this, when you come from the independent world, you kind of got to do everything.
Yeah.
So I did wear a lot of hats, but I'm going to get paid for all these hats. That's the difference. That's the difference between the other ones and today. And like I said, I wrote it. It's from my heart. It is me through and through. I haven't had anything outside of my book be something that is completely me. And I wrote it for women who look like me and you. I want to make sure that the actors are age appropriate. I'm not trying to make people look younger or make people look older. They will be who they are.
Thank you.
And it's the story origin from Cleveland. So,
I love that.
If you want to know more, you have to ask me.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much from the culture, because that's so important. Like, as your passion project, I think that you are tapped into the pulse of not just women, but the people and the culture.
I appreciate that.
I don't want to say that there aren't many out here that are tapped in, but you are. So we'll just leave that there.
I'm going to receive that. I'm going to receive that.
Yeah, and I believe that's why you're so successful. I believe that's why you show up the way that you do. I think that's just why you will be extremely successful in what you do.
Hey, man, from your lips to God's ears, I receive it.
Yes. Absolutely a praise report. So let's shift gears a little bit. Okay. Shift and not shift. So let's talk about
BMF. I'm like an alcoholic if I drink while you shift gears. I'm going to make sure my palate is right. I love palm wine. No, go ahead.
So let's talk about BMF. And I'm not going to ask you a particular question. I want to hear off the top of your head what that feels like for you, what that felt like, the first phone call, the first opportunity, realizing like, oh, this is happening.
BMF is a very interesting show because I've done a lot of shows, but when I tell you, nobody asked me more about any other show than BMF. And I think it's because it's so grounded, it's so culture, it's so gritty, it's raw, it's real, it's so many things. And for me, how BMF came about was, I'm not gonna lie, episodic television directing was not my first choice.
Okay.
My choice has always been feature films.
Okay.
And so when the explosion of TV happened and opportunities opened up there, I'm like, okay, this is natural to go where more opportunities are.
Right.
And I looked at television, I said, okay, I'm going to utilize TV so that I can get my skill set up to go do my features. Yeah. So I started picking shows or listing shows that I wanted to do based off of my passion projects. So I have everything from comedy and true crime.
Yeah.
And so the true crime project, did so many comedies. I was like, okay, I know rhythm, I know how to make people laugh, I know all that. But now for my true crime project, I need to go kill people, right? I need to know what blood splatter and all the things and what it looks like and how to shoot it properly. So I started listing a list of shows that I was already fans of that I would love to work on, and BMF was one of those shows. And when I got a call for it, I was just super duper excited, right? Because it's a show that, I mean, and I love the young actors and they're, you know, just coming of age and in their thing. And I love the whole cast, and I was also excited because I lived in Atlanta for 6 years. Could not get a job in Atlanta to save my life. So I moved back to LA and they brought me back to Atlanta.
Right, of course.
To do BMF.
Of course. Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. But I would say the only disappointing thing about BMF was I came to kill people. In this show, every episode they kill people. And I got the one episode that they kill nobody. So and they said, well, we brought you in because you're good with story. And I'm like, I want to kill somebody. So my episode is probably one of the cleaner ones, but it is one of the ones where I did invest a lot of time into character and what was happening with each character, so that when they actually did take a lot of folks out, you cared about them. So I felt that was important, but I still haven't killed a lot of people.
It's happening. Somebody.
It's gonna happen. I hope not in real life, but I definitely want. I like, you know, I'm a nerd of this thing. I want to see what makes it look real, what makes it look cheesy and corny, and I want to make sure that when I go to do my true crime, because it's true crime, that I can paint a picture as best as possible of what actually happened.
Yeah, I think that when we as what are we, consumers or watchers, whatever you call us, when we're able to tap into a show or a film, I'm always thinking about the writer and the producer, like, who wrote this? Who produced this? Like, what was on their mind? Like, how did they know how to connect with the people like that? You know, like coming from a place, like you came from Cleveland, Ohio, you came from the hood, but then here you are in Hollywood. I'm so glad you wrote that book. Like we're going to talk more about that as well. But I think that because, you know, you lived it, you lived the life, and you were able to create a life that really exposed you to more. Now you can go write about it, and then you can tap into the characters. And then I think that is what exudes, you know, just the talent, just the experience, exposure. I believe that's the gift. That is the gift to me, you know, and that is why we can consume it and say, wow, we can be really connected to it, you know. So it's always fun. I have quite a few friends that are producers and writers, and your minds are crazy. But are so respected, you know, and I've learned to look at films differently, you know, films and TV really differently, because everything that I think is so good and so right, you're like, whatever, that wasn't good, that was horrible. I'm like, no, I thought it was really good. Or no, that was really good, and I thought it was just average. So it just taught me a lot about, you know, just the way your minds work. Yeah.
We special.
Yeah, you are special,
but you know what came
brilliant.
Up for me, what you were saying, though, it came up for me, and that one of my passions is to make sure that there's more women directors, especially African-American women. And that's why I have a nonprofit called Real Black Unicorns. It's because I want to mentor the next generation, because I've been mentored, you know, the Debbie Allens, you know, I'm not trying to just name drop, but when I tell you these were the people who I looked up to, and now that they're like mentors and I can call them and say, hey, I'm stuck here, it's phenomenal. But that's my goal as well, because our perspective is different. You know, our perspective, how we can all be in one room and we can all see this one thing that happened from completely different perspectives. Why? Because we are in different places in that, as well as what your experiences are. So, but I think it's important that we show our perspectives, because there's a different level of heart and thing that women bring to the table that, I agree. No offense, guys, but is just different.
Yeah, I agree. It is the difference. It's actually the difference. So let's shift gears.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit.
I was drinking a little bit of wine. Okay. What is she gonna ask me? What is she gonna ask me? No, go for it.
Yeah. So I want to tap into your personal life a bit.
Where's the bottle? Where's the bottle? I'm joking. No, I'm just joking.
Bottle out, baby.
I'm gonna take a second sip though.
Yeah, let me take my little sip too.
Personal life, come on. I always tell people I'm an open book. You can ask me anything, so let's see what you got.
Well, let me ask you one thing. How did you meet our friend Aldric?
We were at a gas station. I had just moved to Atlanta, so I'm back in LA. But when I did live in Atlanta, I was just getting some gas, and he went to give me one of his cards and said he was a photographer, and I was here like, oh, I want to meet people in the scene, and normally I probably wouldn't have been so open if somebody, walking up to me and saying that, oh, I would love to shoot you. Like, whatever. But he was so kind, nice. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable at all.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And so we realized that we lived pretty much on the same street, right down the hill from each other. Okay. And I was like, I feel comfortable with this guy. I'm going to let him shoot some pictures. Yeah. And he shot some pictures of me, and I knew that day that we were shooting. I was like, okay, this dude, my dude for life. Like, he's going to be around my entire life because he was kind, he was nice, he made me feel comfortable, very comfortable, and made me push myself. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Out a little bit out of my comfort zone. I remember I did this shoot and I had these big, like, y'all can cut to this Afro wig, and I had a 70s look or whatever, and I was all kind of timid about it. Aldric was like, go 70s, do it.
I remember those photos,
And they turned out to be some of the best photos I've ever had. Really cool stuff, so. Yeah, he's still stuck with me.
Yeah, I know. I had a similar experience. We were introduced by our friend D'Angelo, and it's like...
Like the singer D'Angelo?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure I know who D'Angelo
So we were introduced, and it's like, I forgot how we were introduced because he never went away.
Exactly.
He came into the studio, and he just started shooting, and he started introducing people. We started introducing people to him. He became family. He was like a staple in the whole community. And like you said, I felt like I could trust him. And then all of a sudden I look up and Aldric is building websites for us and taking photo shoots and telling me what to do all the time.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. And still, after 20-something years, it's the same relationship. So, he's not going nowhere.
Aldric even did the initial... the poster for my very first feature film. I did a film for Lifetime called
I wish we could cut to that. Yeah.
Oh, listen.
We definitely have to do that.
Aldric, cut to that.
Yeah.
But it's a poster of the movie, and it was starring Taraji P. Henson. We had Gladys Knight, Method Man, LaToya Luckett. And when I tell you, no shade, but Lifetime wasn't really doing posters and stuff like that for their work. But I was like, there's no way I did all this work and I don't have a poster and I don't have a premiere. So I had to call all my friends. So when it came down to that, and okay, one more thing, Aldric, and then I'm done with Aldric. When my grandmother passed away, my grandmother, it's so funny, we're in June, I'm talking about my best friend, my girl, like all the things. When she passed away, I wanted to put together her obituary, but we ain't doing no 1-2 page. I gotta have about 5-10 pages up in here. I wanted to do so much stuff, and I knew that if I called Aldric, he gonna make sure it gets done. It's gonna make sure it's the best, and I still have it on my mantle to this day because he helped me memorialize my grandmother the way I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a staple. He's like that brother, that confidant, that friend, like.
Now he'll make you get on some minerals. No, I'm joking.
Girl, he gonna make you healthy.
Take your vitamins. That's what you need in life. You need people like that.
You need that accountability. Somebody that love you. Good. So let's get a little more personal. Real personal. So what has it been like, being in the industry, TV and film, a male-dominated industry, right? Absolutely. Dating. Have you been dating, Princess?
What's that? No. You say what? No. Okay. Let's break it down.
Yes, please do. Because the people want to hear. The people want to know.
Okay, so I'm a firm believer that you get what you put out there. And I think that me growing up in the church and like, oh, somebody got to find me, all that kind of stuff, you know, it all plays into whether you're with somebody or not.
Yeah.
I went through a season where I was the 5-year girl. Like I go from one relationship to another, 5 years. And then I decided I'm going to break this pattern. I got to quit doing this 5-year thing. Yeah. And unfortunately, but fortunately, I had to have back surgery. And so, or second back surgery. And so when I had this back surgery, I'm like, I'm going to work on self. I'm going to get my health back together. And I'm not going to see anybody. I'm going to break this cycle.
Yeah.
And then I said, but next year, I am going to get back on the dating thing.
Right.
And there's this thing called COVID that happened.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, how does this happen?
You didn't get stuck with nobody in COVID.
I mean, you know, I had a couple COVID boos. But it wasn't anything substantial just because we were in this weird time. We were fearful. Like, are we dying? Is the world coming to an end? We don't know.
For sure. I don't know if I want to die with you.
Right.
Like this.
I don't know. This is too early. And then I had to spray them down with alcohol and come to the door. Did you take a COVID test? Like,
yes, it was so weird.
It was crazy. So, but where I am today, I should say, from that point, I just found that I'm more in a flow space, and I have been chasing certain dreams and certain things for such a long time. I feel like this person that I'm supposed to be with is on the other side of what I'm currently doing. So it has relaxed me. Yeah. It has made me not feel desperate or lonely or any of those different things. Yeah. I feel more on brand, on purpose. And I feel like I know this project that I'm doing is going to be a big breakthrough to the industry and for people to know me and be able to do more and employ more people. I know that there is somebody that is supposed to be on this journey with me. Yeah. Yeah. So because I know that, I'm not tripping no more. Yes. I used to be. Now, I be talking a lot of my girlfriends off the ledges. Girl, come down. He will come. Just come down. Like you are just tripping on this ledge because you feel lonely or whatever. But I think it's understanding who you are, where you are, and understanding it happens when it's supposed to happen. Yeah. And there may be times when you have to put something into it. You may have to get on a dating app. You may have to go to that party. You may have to say, hey, friends, you are cool people over here. Y'all know anybody? Yeah. Let me know. Or real talk. And I just recently had somebody, because I told my friend this like a year ago. And she was like, okay, I want to have somebody I want you to meet. And I totally forgot I told her that. When I tell you, phenomenal dude that I met. Wasn't necessarily the right person for me, but it was great to meet someone of quality and I could have a conversation with. It was not a love connection, but it was like, this it was
an energy shift. It was a shift in the atmosphere, like, oh, I'm in the right direction. I'm
right.
Yeah.
Because he was fine. I was like, well, look at me mature. It ain't just about being fine no more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's about understanding, are we in alignment with what we want to go and what we're doing? I think he was phenomenal and just an amazing guy, but our trajectories were going different directions.
And probably just a good connection, a good human.
No, he's about to be my trainer.
There you go.
And I think that's the reason why I met him, because sometimes you're attracting people, and it's not necessarily a love connection; it's something else. So he's gonna be my trainer.
And to be able to, like, in the space that you're in life, in flow. Like my philosophy is, I got this from Wayne Dyer: open to everything and attached to nothing. So important, but unhealed people don't hear that properly. Like, what you mean? Open to everything? And no, I'm not open to everything. It's like you have to just be
you're surrendering
open in
to
life. You're surrendering to exactly. Absolutely. And attachment, like you have to learn to detach from things and flow. Move and flow. And it's freedom to me.
Absolutely.
And I think that it's an important space, and I see that all over you. I see freedom all over you.
I say amen, because sometimes you wonder what you look like from the outside in. Like, I know what I feel. I know what I'm doing. So every now and then someone will say, why don't you have somebody? Why aren't you this? And I'm like, you don't think I'm good by myself? Like, what am I projecting that? Do I look like I need to have that? Or
right. Well, some people do carry that, but you don't. You carry freedom.
But no, I mean, I desire it. I want it 100%.
But you can also be free in that.
Yeah.
You can be free in love. You can still be, you can find your person, you can find love in those desires and still not be free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That.
You can get yourself caught up because you're not healed. You can get yourself caught up in some mess again. I
love this song by Neo. He said, I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together.
You better say
that is what I feel, because I'm such a movement.
Yes,
but I got like one on, and I'm doing positive, purposeful work. Yeah. So I know I'm a movement.
Yeah.
But I do long for that force when we're together. Or when I don't have to take out the garbage. I'm such a simple girl. People think that I'm high maintenance because I like the hair and makeup, but I'm telling you, I be sweats all day long. But every time I pull my trash cans in, I be like, I'm such a man right now. I don't want to do that. That little thing, I'll be like, what you want for dinner? Like, I got your steak. Because it's just, I want to just not do that. I want certain things I just don't want to do.
Yeah. So, okay, I know the people want to know.
Okay.
So I have to ask you, tell us more about your ideal partner.
Oh, damn,
what you desire. Yeah.
Oh, wait, where's the bottle of wine? We out of wine.
I mean, look at this beauty. I mean, I know that this is going to blow up and the people are going to want to know. So just give them a little snippet of an idea.
Listen, come on, we can take applications. I mean, I really want someone, I mean, to me, the obvious things that are very, very, like, I need somebody who's a believer in God.
Yeah.
Knows who he is. I always say I date men only. I don't date males. Because just because you're a male don't mean that you're a man.
Exactly.
And when you're a man, to me, you know who you are. You know what you're doing. You're not going to be looking at the naysayers and Instagram and all the little videos about who she's... My friends sometimes send me, like, they always say, what say you on these videos about these people on podcasts. I'd be like, I don't know what these people are talking about. You got to be 100% or you got to be 50%, 50-50. And I'm like, I have no idea what you people are talking about. You're either committed or you're not. You either in or you out. Yeah. I don't do the gray area. I don't do the whole, none of that. When I'm with you, I'm with you. I'm down, I'm ride or die. I got your back the whole nine. I don't know this percentages thing. Yeah. And so, someone that is funny, someone who looks to make my life easier. And everything that I'm saying is what I look to do for someone else. I look to say, how can I make your life easier? How can I make your world better?
Yeah.
And to chime in, as well as a man who could tell me, if you don't sit your ass down. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need you to have that power, but to know when to use that. That ain't every time. That's like twice a year. No.
I think that's a conversation that's in social media that's being misconstrued right now. With the whole, being submissive and being led and all that. I think that, especially with our generation, I think some people are speaking on that have no
research.
Experience or research.
No,
none whatsoever.
They have no idea what that means because people don't understand that the Bible says that men are submissive as well. But go look that up.
Thank you.
What the heck? They just focus on us. But anyway.
Absolutely. And I think I'm a big believer in two people who connect. You meet your person. This is who I want to commit to. I want to be with. We create our own culture. We create what we need to create together.
Love that.
And it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to look like anything out there. But we've been programmed on what success looks like as a couple, as humans. Period. But I'm just a big believer in what are your needs? Like you said, how can I make your life better, and vice versa. So let's meet each other, and create what we need for this life to make sense, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So,
but he need to kick it. He need to also have arrived.
Yes.
I used to say I like potential. When I say arrived just really means that you know who you are, what you're doing, what you want. Yeah, like I don't need you to be. I mean, and go get your therapy. we all wounded. We all have triggers. We all have the things. Sure. But like work on that and seek wise counsel.
Yeah.
A man who don't have friends or nobody he can call that's above him that has been there, done that, and he can seek some wise counsel, that concerns me.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't ask me what my sign is, and we'll have an issue there.
No.
Okay. I don't do this.
I think willingness is everything. You know, willingness to work with someone.
I like a good teachable spirit too.
Yep.
Which means that you might not have experienced certain things and you want to learn, or if I always ask this when I go out on a date, and this is always the simplest thing, is some guys are naturally, they're going to open your door. Mm-hmm. They're naturally not going to walk off and have you behind them. Mm-hmm. They're naturally going to sit with their back to the door so they got your back. They're naturally going to do that because maybe that was what they were taught. Mm-hmm. So when I go out with somebody for the first time, I always ask the question, I say, okay, are you a person who wants to open the door or not?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And the ones that say, oh, I don't care, whatever. But the ones that will say, what would you prefer? If you want me to do it, I'll do that for you. If you don't care, I'll do it when I do it. Mm-hmm. I can roll with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that means that he is open to what makes me feel comfortable or like a lady.
Yeah, that's super mature. Because I've never heard that. I've heard women complain, but I've never heard a woman ask a man, you know.
I do that, and then when we walk into a restaurant, I say, well, where would you like to sit?
I think that's a great prompting for him, though. You know, because maybe he's not thinking about that.
Exactly.
Maybe that's not on his mind. Maybe he might be nervous about dating you. Mm-hmm. You know, he might miss something because he's so enamored by your beauty and, you know, just being with you. So I think a lot of times, for women, you should be able to read him, you know, and just kind of pick up on his needs. If he's a little bit nervous, you know, ask him, what do you prefer? You know, where do you want to sit? What, you know, like all the things that we can think of, because, you know, we're always, you know, picking up things that they're not. So, but that's why we're partners. That's why we're great partners, right. You know, we're just filling in the gaps for each other and then making it all make sense. Yeah. So, a couple of things that are coming up before we close out here.
Because I got to talk to you all day.
I know.
But I don't think Aldric get no more wine, so.
I know.
No, okay. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
So, this is a couple of things that just came off the top of my head. So, has being a tall, beautiful woman, have you seen this as intimidating for men? Especially in your energy, growing up and even in your industry, or just overall, period.
You know, that is a interesting thing that I had. I wish maybe that will be on my to write book list.
Okay.
And I say that because it comes up on such a regular basis of either being told that I'm intimidating or being told where my male friend says, most men when they go out in the streets looking for something, they look for something easy. When they look at you, they be like, ooh, that's not going to be easy. right?
That's a good one.
And I'm like, what am I giving off to? I want to be easy, but I want to be approachable. I want you to talk to. But then I also get a flip side that when people get to know me, they be like, oh, women be like, I thought you were such a bitch, but you're so cool.
Yeah.
And then guys will be like, you really don't want that much. You want a Starbucks card and me to take out your garbage. You are simple.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, the hair, the nails, the makeup, all the things. I mean, I'm in Atlanta right now, the Housewives. I was looking for my next hairstyle on the Housewives the other day because them girls be fabulous, but it does come off with a like, oh, I'm high maintenance, or you need to maintain all this. We do this for us, y'all.
Yeah.
Guys be like, we don't need all that. We don't do it for y'all.
Yeah, we don't.
It's fun. We like being girly and trust. After I leave here, I'm gonna take this wig off and I'm gonna put on my baseball cap and my sweats because I like to do that too.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So I do all the things, but I don't know. I think when I hear that, it makes me sad sometimes because I'll be like, oh my God, you are missing out.
You're missing out. That's what I was going to say.
A wonderful person because of but intimidation. I'm like, if you're a man and you're intimidated by me as a woman, you shouldn't come over here anyway.
Yeah, thank you. And
you can stay back.
That is the absolute truth. a man who's not for you, he won't even approach you. He is the one that's intimidated. Yeah. But a real man who knows who he is, whose he is, and what he wants.
Yeah, they approach all the day long. They will approach.
No intimidation there. I love that. So do you have anything you want to leave the audience with? I will ask you one more question, and then I'll ask you to leave the audience with whatever you want. What advice would you give your younger self today? What would you tell your younger self in order to...
Can I cuss on this podcast? I would tell myself, chill the fuck out.
I know that's right.
Because I was so intense and like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. I was just so, not that I don't have those moments sometimes today, but, and I tell myself now, chill the fuck out. Like, chill out. Everything that's happening is happening for your good.
Yeah.
Everything that's happening is happening because it's supposed to be. There's lessons to learn. Yeah. You're going to get there. Yeah. It's going to happen. When I think about all the things that you named that I did, even though I'm so focused on the things that I want to do, it trips me out that I've accomplished those things, and I never thought that I would.
Right.
And now these things that are actually more elevated, because that's what you should do, is elevate. I'm like, is it gonna happen? Oh my God! Yeah. Chill the fuck out. Yeah. Just chill out. I mean, because life is short. People are dying. Yeah. Every time someone dies, that is the thing that comes to make me, one, feel more alive and realize God ain't done with me. Yeah. Every time I open my eyes up in the morning, I tell my little dog, Snowy, I'm like, oh, God ain't done with us. My dog will be 16.
Oh.
And I'm like, Snowy, oh my God, God ain't done with us. And I just pet him and he be like, okay, girl, whatever. And we go do our little walk. But I would tell myself just to chill, and I still tell myself to chill. Yeah. Because I'm going to fulfill what I came here to do.
Absolutely.
And when I'm done, then I'll leave. Yeah. Until then, y'all keep saying me, I ain't done.
There it is. What do we have to look forward to coming from?
Oh God. I've been working for a long time, and I tell all my family and my friends right now that my next step in my career is I am still a director for hire, so please call me. But I'm moving toward the position where I want to hire people. I want to have my own studio. I want to have my own ability to stop seeing all these amazing, talented people in LA, in Atlanta, that I cannot hire.
Yeah, I heard you say that in the podcast.
That's what is floating my boat. Yeah. So I'm working on my first feature film that I wrote. And with my writing partner, Lamont Farrell. I am directing it. I'm producing it. It's a major motion picture. I love it. And I've already started getting my collective together in LA. Maybe I need an Atlanta collective as well, because I want to hire people who are talented, who don't have the outlets. As well as I'm working on my next book. So I wrote Hood to Hollywood, How to Stop Waiting to Be Discovered and Discover Yourself. And that's more my memoir and some things I learned along the way. But I want you to learn from all these amazing, fabulous directors that I know. Yeah. So the next book is Hood to Hollywood, The Director's Journey. Oh, I love And so I'll be collecting stories. I'll be doing this with each director, and I'll be collecting their stories, so that no longer will a black or brown girl or boy want to go to a bookstore or look online to find a book with a face of someone that looks like them on it. They will be able to find it.
They will be able
underneath
to find
the directing umbrella. And then I will do more and more along the way. As well as my Real Black Unicorns mentoring program. We're revamped it. We're officially a 501c3.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm not going to be the only mentor anymore. So I'm very excited about that. All the directors that I know, we're coming together, and I'm going to be able to partner people with other amazing mentors. And for them to learn about all this journey from so many other people than just me.
Good. I love it. I just see growth, expansion, and abundance all over you, lady.
Amen.
The world needs you desperately, and we are so happy to have you here. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
My girl from Ohio.
Right, Dayton, where's that? Thank you for having me. Thank you, Aldric. who is like Mama, you got another son that you never met before.
Tell me about it.
So I have to like drive Aldric down to South Carolina where my mother is, or when she comes up here.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you for always thinking about me and giving me so many discounts off of stuff. Because I'd be like, Aldric, I don't have no money. Can you please help me? And he will hook me up. And he'd be like, you know how much this costs? I'd be like, I know, but you're the best. And see, that's why I'm here for free.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Teamwork, family.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I
love it. Yeah, it's super good.
Will work from plum wine.
Yeah! Cheers! Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I had an amazing conversation with Miss Princess Monique Filmz, and I will have to say, like, I really truly enjoyed it. It was so heartfelt and genuine and transparent. Thank you for your transparency so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you.